and welcome to News from a Different View in association with the Dayton Weekly News. We have two important guests with us this evening, and we're going to talk about a program that is making a lot of impact in and around the Dayton community. I'd like to welcome Mr. Richard Moore of the Unified Health Solutions and Ms. Eleanor Newman to our show this evening. You know, Unified Health Solutions is a program that is a 501c3, and it's a social service organization that was established in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, or 1966?
66.
1966. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask Mr. Moore to just give us a brief synopsis of what the organization is all about.
Okay. Well, briefly, our organization, like you said, it's a nonprofit that's been in business for over 45 years. Our main focus and emphasis are centered around education, health, and workforce development programs.
Mm-hmm. So where does this program impact? Who does it impact? Is it a program that's just limited to Dayton, or is it a Miami Valley program?
Our charter allows us to service the Miami Valley. I think there's 9 surrounding counties. Mm-hmm. The majority of what we do is inside Montgomery County. However, one of our programs, Wellness to Go, they're actually in Preble County today. So we try to make our footprint regional. It is what we do. It's a regional.
Okay, Ms. Newman, when you think in terms of the name Unified Health Solutions, is it basically just about health and health issues, or does it go beyond that?
It goes beyond that. Like Mr. Moore had said, we actually are a social service agency, and our focus is pretty much education. We just promote healthy family living. Mm-hmm. Because throughout the Miami Valley, that's needed, and that's pretty much what we do in all areas and all ages. I believe the youngest age we start at would be age 6 to probably 65 or 70 throughout our organization that we assist.
Do you work with organizations such as Jobs and Family, the Welfare Department, which is called Human Service Department? Do you work with these type of organizations?
Yes, we do. We actually have we do a lot of referral services through Job and Family Services. A lot of our program and funding comes through Montgomery County funds.
Okay. Who qualifies, Mr. Moore, for this program? I'm sure there's some parameters that guidelines you got to go through and
certainly
that type of thing.
Our organization, I believe that we have maybe 6 separate programs, and the qualifications for each program would be dependent upon which program to which you were applying. Mm-hmm. For instance, I'm the manager of the Workforce Development Program, and the parameters for that program, at least age parameters, are 16 to 21. However, our Wellness to Go programs, I just believe you need to be 18 years old. I just believe you need to be an adult. Project Empower, I believe, is also 16 to 21. Our prescription assistance, I believe, is wide open. And our after-school programming, of course, is school age, elementary and middle school students. So there's no one sort of age range that we necessarily work with. And depending on the issue, even if it's something that we can't necessarily handle in-house, I'm sure that there's some sort of agency or some partnership that we've developed that could assist a person with whatever their need was.
When you talk in terms of workforce development, what is that for people who may not know?
Workforce development is basically a concentrated effort to train and retrain the workforce to so that it may be absorbed into the demand of an area. There's basically 2 main concentrations in workforce development that you look at. The first can be categorized as sort of regional. What does your region need in terms of what type of workforce professionals need to be trained and made available for the to make the impact in your region. And the other is centered around preparing those that may not have those skills that are needed in the workforce, preparing them with those functions so that they may be able to go out and become gainfully employed.
Well, you know, in the last couple of years, Dayton has seen a major blow in its workforce.
Absolutely.
Of course, General Motors has left, all but left. NCR left, which impacted on a lot of small and medium-sized business who are suppliers and who were connected to those companies. What has that done to the Dayton community? I know it's caused a major impact, but are people going back to school and trying to retrain and retool to do what in Dayton?
We are. The same push in Dayton that we found can be kind of tied into some of the same push that it is nationally. Unfortunately, sort of the manufacturing hub, the strength of our region, some of those jobs have left. So it takes a certain amount of training. You can do really well in the medical field right now in Dayton. You can also do very well in IT, technology-based things. There's a big initiative for the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That field is you know, really ready to take off kind of in the future. So as we try to retool in Dayton, there's also a sense that nationally, as important as the manufacturing base is, as those jobs continue to shrink, we want to try and prepare as best we can the citizens and the people of the region and the people in our programs to sort of best retrain and be able to work the jobs that are available. But it was you know, it's been a devastating blow as we work with youth and young people. You know, with the shortages of jobs, it makes our job harder, but nonetheless, we're up for the challenge, and it's fine. We still provide a high quality of service.
You know, I was looking at the news the other day, and it talked about the small community of Anna, Ohio. I'm not really sure how far Anna is from here. I think it's fairly close, but Honda has a major plant there, and they're getting ready to employ quite a few people, which means I would imagine that people from Dayton, because people don't mind going, you know, traveling for a good job now. Cincinnati, Columbus, people travel every day back and forth to these communities. Do you deal with trying to find people jobs in some of these areas?
We haven't as of yet. Our main focus, we try to find them jobs regionally, mainly in Montgomery County, maybe surrounding counties. We haven't looked yet as to maybe go that far, but if the opportunity were available, if that's something that we thought that we could secure, then we absolutely would. But we've, in discussions, talked about developing things on the edge as far as Miami County and maybe Greene County, trying to expand our footprint to allow the participants of some of our programs to be able to access those opportunities. If they're not in our backyard, then we want to make an opportunity for them to be able to take advantage of wherever they could, you know, earn a steady employment, you know, take care of their families.
Ms. Newman, you're head of you manage rather the Project Empower.
Yes.
What is that? What exactly
Project
is that?
Empower is an alcohol, tobacco, and drug prevention program. And we mainly, our focus is to keep our youth drug, alcohol, and tobacco free.
Okay.
The program serves pregnant and parenting teens in the Montgomery County. It's an extensive program. We use a curriculum that keeps them steady within their families. Not only do we serve just the individual youth, but we service their family as well. We go into schools and community sites throughout Dayton and teach a curriculum through education. We have certain groups of, maybe it can go from 3 to 15 in each group. So
do you work with, even though I know these are programs that that deal with drug addiction, but programs like Project Cure and Humandat, and do you work, interact with those organizations?
Actually, we don't interchange because of the age group.
Right.
We get our funding from the same funding source. So at times we are having meetings and we are in conjunction and collaboration with them. I sit around the table at different meetings with those same groups, and we just kind of throw ideas off of one another because we deal with youth and they pretty much deal with the adults. So we try to keep them from getting to that level where they may need that service. But we do collaborate with those services as well because we get our funding from the same source.
I think we all watch the evening news and read the newspapers. I know in the Dayton Weekly News we're constantly having to deal with topics around drug addiction and you know, adolescent behavior that is not good. How bad, and maybe that's not a good word, but I'm going to say it anyway. How bad is the drug problem among youth in the Dayton area?
From what we see in the statistics that we deal with, it has not been a rising number, but it's been steady. We talk about it because the different drugs that are coming up are new. So we have to go get educated on things that are new. You know, you have the older drugs from a long time in the day. Yeah, those things are not as relevant, but they are. So we pretty much try to stay up on it, and we know that there is a growing need for us to continue to educate them because the problem that rises.
Because it looks like every day, I was watching TV the other day, and they had I can't even think of the name of it, some kind of drug bathroom product.
Oh, the bath salt.
Yeah, bath salt, right. The kids are into, and then of course Oxycontin, and what's the other big one that's methamphetamine, the meth. Yeah, you know, and they're not limited. You know, a lot of times people think that many of these drugs are limited to the African American community,
right?
But they're not.
No,
I
they're
mean,
not.
you know, meth and some of those are really big in other communities.
Yes, they are very big, and a lot of the ones you mentioned are pretty much synthetic. Those are things that people are making themselves.
Right.
You know, like bath salt and meth, and it's just not pretty much the street drug that we're normal hearing. You know, marijuana, heroin, you know, cocaine. Those synthetic drugs are the ones that are on the rise because people are actually making those things, you know, themselves.
You know, have you ever asked? In fact, we're working on a story right now that kind of addresses that, but have you ever asked a young person why they would want to put something in their body that is foreign and that might kill them? I mean, you know, they don't have that many problems, you know, that make me put something up my nose.
Right.
You know, I've always wondered that, and we're working on that right now. But have you ever asked them? I mean, do they ever?
Yeah, we've had those discussions, and the one thing, we have some that are completely anti-drug, but then there are some that they say when they answer it because they see that their friends have done it and nothing has happened to them, or they may grow up in families where they see this has been in their families, and uncle is around, and they say, well, if I try it, it won't be that bad. So it's what they see pretty much. They say, well, it didn't hurt them, so it wouldn't be harmful to me. So that's pretty much why they do it.
Yeah. What's the criteria if a young person in their teens or early 20s wanted to get involved in your program, what would they have to do? I mean, who do they go to?
They would contact, of course, Unified Health Solutions, and there's no criteria or no eligibility. The only eligibility and the requirement that we would have would be that they're a Montgomery County resident and that they're pregnant or parenting, because that's our main focus within our program, ages 16 to 21. So that's pretty much it. They don't have to have an income requirement. They can just pretty much call our agency if they're pregnant or parenting between the ages of 16 and 21, and we can pretty much supply them with services.
The young man that is the president and CEO is somebody that I know pretty well, Don Eric Black. Are they looking at other things? Because there's so many things coming, for lack of a better word, just coming out today. Do you guys see expanding your program into other areas?
Yes, we've had a lot of conversations and meetings about expanding. I know one big thing is where we're talking about the anti-bullying. I know that's a big thing, and we've had a discussion on trying to, because we're already in local schools in the area, to try to get in and expand our program so that we can deliver that message as well. I know that's one. I'm not sure if he's spoke with any.
Well, I think that kind of on a holistic or sort of macro level, as an agency, we want to try and position ourselves to use whatever resources or whatever specialties that we have to make as great an impact on the region as we possibly can. So it really would depend on what the unmet need was, and if we felt like we could provide a service and a great service at that. If we felt like we can make an impact on that, and there was an opportunity, then I'm sure that you know, those in leadership would look to offer those type of services. Absolutely.
You know, with the cutbacks in the economy, and we, you know, we're in an election year, and nobody knows what's going to happen in the next several months. But has some of the cutbacks affected you guys? And because I know a lot of the programs, for instance, I was looking at the brochure which talked in terms of the fact that you guys spent over $1 million in assisting prescriptions, you know, drug prescriptions, which I know a lot about that because I probably spent that much myself. Not quite, but almost. You know, with that type of thing. So are you guys being impacted, or how does that look at this point?
Well, absolutely. I think that that because of the slowdown in the national economy, the state economy, the regional economy, it absolutely has trickled down here to the sort of the frontline level. There is a strain on the dollars that are out there and that are available. There are less dollars, and believe it or not, there are more people.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
So we've had to find ways to do more with less. We're all wearing 2 or 3 different hats. We've all had to expand our duties and our services to continue to provide a high level of service, but absolutely. I mean, with limited dollars, and you know, pretty much everybody still looking at those same amount of dollars. There have been a lot of adjustments that we've had to make, but fortunately, we're still here and we're still making a difference.
You've been here since 1966, which means about 45 years or so.
Yes.
So it looks like you're a stable organization. What about partnerships? You know, when you think in terms of being involved with, especially prescription care and different health care projects, I'm sure you partner up with other people who are doing similar kinds of things, or something that will expand a little bit.
Yes, we do. I know that we partner with Area Agency on Aging. Another partner would be United Way with the Greater Dayton, and also with Vic Casano Health Center. Those are our major partners within the SCRIP programs, because they also helped reduce the costs, because they can get them at a lower cost, and they also have the participants that, you know, like Area Agency on Aging, they have the funding. So we partner with them so that they can not only they can reach them, but we also can better serve them because we're right here and can touch them right in the city.
Let me step back a second and talk about something that we you know, that you can't hardly get out of your mind, and that is the jobs. I noticed that you guys service about 1,700 people with job assistance each year. I guess that's a year, somewhere around a year. What does that mean when you say you assist? Is that like some programs give job assistance, help them get there through funding, through transportation, and through helping them develop resumes and things like that?
Right.
What all do you guys do?
Well, first, let me clear it up. That's 1,700 as a running total.
Yes.
we're not assisting 1,700 people a year. Okay. But all of the things that you just named, we want to service as sort of the bridge or the go-between for whatever need that they might have in order to become employed. So it is absolutely about resume development, interviewing techniques. Sometimes it's transportation. We have a partnership, speaking of the partnerships that you were just talking about, we have a partnership with Clothes at Work, where we can get them interviewing attire. So we try to do whatever it is that we can. Some of our participants don't have home computers where they can come in and they can use the lab to do job search. So, you know, of all of those things encompass kind of what we consider the assistance in what we do. But there have been times where we've gone actually further than that. I mean, we'll actually pound the pavement. We'll actually try to, you know, kick the door down and hold it open for them and kind of walk them through that situation. In my program specifically, we even provide 12 months of follow-up service. So not only, you know, do we try to make sure that they become employed, but we want to try and track them for at least 12 months officially to make sure that not only that they reach their goal, but we want to try and support them while they're sort of going through their working process.
So that means that you you do have interaction with people like Jobs and Family Service then.
Yes,
because that's probably the basic contact point in this community for.
Well, one of our workforce development programs, the Youth Employment and Training Program, is funded directly through the Workforce Investment Act.
Right.
So our funds come directly from the job center. So we work in concert with them. We speak to them on a daily basis. So yeah, they're absolutely integral in providing not only the funding, but providing oversight and also lending us any resources that they may have. So it's a community effort. It's a collaborative effort. Earlier, I know we were talking about partnerships again. Partnerships are the lifeblood of what we do.
Right.
We couldn't do or provide the services that we need to provide alone. We need other agencies that do other things. We found that insulation of our participants, if we can get them involved with this program and get them involved with this mentor and link them up with this job site, that together, if we can all pitch in, that way we can truly try and make a difference.
You know, recent statistics stated that the unemployment situation is getting better. Of course, it depends on who you talk to, but right. In the African American community nationally, unemployment is at 16.5%.
Yes, sir.
In the general population, it's somewhere around 8%. So the African American community is double that of other communities, which means that we're still way behind in the job market, and the less education and the less training, then the harder it's going to be to get a job, which brings me to my next question. When I talk in terms of mentoring, I'm a strong advocate of mentoring. I think you give back, you try to teach young people how to better themselves through example. And I've mentored quite a few kids down through the years. And when you think in terms of, you guys mentor about 1,000 young people a year, and according to the information that I have, and you're constantly looking for young people who mentor. Now, I do know, do you have an opportunity to work with people like Parity, Inc., who also mentors? You know what Parity is?
I do.
Okay.
I know what Parity.
Yeah, Parity is an organization. Well, they mentor and they sponsor a lot of things. Just in about 2 weeks, they'll have their top 10 African American male program, which they honor 10 African American males each year. In fact, your boss, Don Eric, is one of the top 10 African American males. Okay. And so is yours truly. So we've both been through that program. But Tuesday, I had the opportunity to sit down with Susan Taylor, who was the editor of Essence magazine.
Okay.
And she was in town. They have a national program which is being supported and sanctioned by the White House and a lot of top business people around the country. And I cannot think of the name of it, but it's primarily a mentoring program around community organizations. For instance, they're asking churches to mentor. If you're a large church, for instance, like Shiloh Baptist Church in Dayton or St. Luke, they're asking you to mentor a whole school. If you're a small church, they may ask you to mentor a classroom. If you're a medium-sized church, they might ask you to mentor 2 or 3 classrooms. But the mentoring thing is getting to be quite a thing, because we found that our young people, one of the problems, and when I say our young people, I'm specifically talking about African American youth, one of the biggest problems that they have is the fact that so many come from displaced homes, where you might have a mother who's trying to raise 5 or 6 kids. It takes all her time and energy to do so, and it may not be a male image in the home, and many times the kids don't get that grounding, particularly educationally. Somebody got to sit down at the kitchen table and teach you the math and expand the curriculum that you learn in high school. So when you guys talk about mentoring, so what are some of the things you do in your mentoring program? Which one of you?
Actually, we don't consider ourselves mentors. We consider ourselves life skill coaches.
Okay.
Because the program that I'm manager over, we deal with, like I said, pregnant and parenting teens. So we try to help them strengthen the families as being teen parents, that's male and female, so that they can raise healthy children. We don't pretty much, like I said, we don't consider ourselves mentors, but at the end of the day, they look at us as that. What the funding says, we're life skill coaches, and that's exactly what we are. We stick with them. We try to give them all the needed supplies, whether it be, like you said, transportation. You find yourself driving them here and driving them there to get jobs, or if it's something to medical needs and shots for their children and things like that. If it's food, if it's clothing, we're there to make sure that they have the proper resources and the proper things they need to raise their children. So we are, in a sense, you can look at us as a mentor, but we pretty much are life skill coaches and make sure that they stay drug and alcohol free through those stresses, that may come day to day. What
about inappropriate sexual behavior? Because a lot of, according to statistics, 70% of African American females under the age of 21 have babies out of wedlock. That's a large amount, which means that translates into a lot of little kids who are growing up in a single parent home and without any male influence and so forth. Do you deal with that type of subject matter?
Yes, we do. We, usually by the time they come to us, they're already parents, because that's what our program consists of. But we try to keep them pretty much as, if you have the one child, we try to give them education on healthy habits as far as sexual education, so they know that you can only provide pretty much for that one child. And not only is it just the children, that you have sexually transmitted diseases that are going around.
Right.
So within that education, we try to make sure we refer them to the right people so they know that this is something that is not healthy, for them and their family.
Okay. So you guys, according to the information I have, you guys have over 2,000 youth that you work through each year with this program. That's a lot of kids. So you do, I know you don't mentor or work with 2,000 directly.
No.
So how does that work?
Sometimes you feel like it. Well,
yeah.
Between programs, we kind of work with the same youth between both programs, because we deal within the same area. So I think with my program, within a year, we probably between 250 to 300 come through our program. I don't pretty much know with your program the actual number, but with that it being half, we actually refer them to the workforce development program. So he's dealing with the same students. So we kind of, when it comes to that number, we're counting per program, but we're interacting with those same students throughout the program. So 2,000 could be right, but we're dealing with the same students.
And we're also representative of two of many programs throughout the agency. So it's not just the programs that we work directly with, but we are part of the Neighborhood Schools Initiative. We also have, we're part of, we're in Northridge Schools. So that's kind of a collaborative number of each individual program kind of poured into a big, this is how many lives we touch on a yearly basis.
How do you gauge your success? I'm sure there are ways that, you know.
Well, there are actually two ways to look at that. And being that, to the best of my knowledge, none of us have hit the Powerball for $500 million, we are accountable to the funding source that provides the money.
Who are they? Who are some of your funding sources?
The Department of Jobs and Family Services is a major contributor to some of the things we do. We get money from United Way, the Human Service Levy. Trying to go through my mind of all the different programs.
Our actual funding source is Adamus of Montgomery County.
Okay.
We get money from.
But
my good friend Helen Kelly Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But to so they generally have outcomes that allows you to measure how well you're doing.
Right.
We have quality assurance programs in-house that will actually keep us on track or keep us on target. It tells us when we need to work harder in order to reach those outcomes. That's kind of the formal answer. The informal answer is that we try to create as close to a family and concerned environment that we possibly can. And not everyone starts at the same point. Right. So to measure success, the success of one person versus another, the only way that you could normalize it is to see if they reach those particular outcomes. But sometimes the success in some of our youth, it just depends on their background. You know, if we have a young person that comes into our doors that you know, has dropped out of school and may be a youth offender, and they may have a child, and they work themselves all the way back to where they enroll in school and graduate with a diploma or a GED. That's absolute success. It's a big deal to them, and it's a big deal to me. So I guess I'd like to celebrate success as maybe just making a positive impact on the on whoever it is that comes into our door, whatever impact that we can make for them.
Do you have to be in school, actively in school, to enroll in your program? You
don't have to be in school. As a matter of fact, there are two major categories at which we enroll, and one of them is an out-of-school youth. So we have provisions for high school dropouts. We also want to target those that may have managed to graduate high school, but maybe they haven't entered that next phase of their life. Maybe it's a year, it's 2 years down the road. Maybe they're now looking at maybe going back to school. Maybe they don't know what they want to do. You know, we absolutely, actually, we cater to those. We want those youth to come through our doors and see if we can help.
What are some of the advantages? Give me a series of advantages. I know you see all kinds, so give me some advantages of being enrolled in your program. Yeah.
Well, the huge advantage is that you are impacted by skilled individuals who have worked in the field for quite some time, who can give you advice and lead you in a good path. That's a big advantage, and a lot of our participants don't have that positive role model, don't have that positive person within their life. So that's the big advantage for a lot of the participants that are in our program. You know, someone that's listening to you, someone that pretty much understands, because we've been through trainings and know that no matter where you are now, that doesn't mean that's where you have to be. that there's a successful door opening, that all you have to do is just go through it. You know, with ours, we have, like I said, pregnant and parenting teams, which they come with a lot of barriers. So what we do is, you know, try to let them know that they can break those barriers down, and we have a huge success rate with our students. I mean, we have where they go on to secondary education. You know, we have some that go on to Ohio State. We had last year, we had 2 to go on to Ohio State. Now, these are parents. They have children. So just to know that they graduated high school with their children and also went on to college, to 4-year universities, that's a big advantage.
You know, one of the problems that, and I know a lot of teachers and constantly talking to teachers, that teachers say they have is discipline. You know, they spend so much of their time trying to keep order rather than teach. What type of situation do you have to, I know you can't stop it. I know your organization does not have the built-in.
I wish.
We deal with that.
And sell it.
Yeah, but I'm sure you see it and have an opportunity to kind of at least add a little fervor to it. What are some of the things that you...
Well, one of the benefits that we have, and we work with school-age children or school-age young adults, one of the advantages that we have is that we don't have to service in the capacity of a teacher. So we may be able to say things, we may be able to talk to them in ways that a different professional may not be able to talk to them. What I've found very true with the young people that come through our doors is it's really all about relationship building. We try to establish the relationships with our youth that will allow us to give them constructive criticism if they were to need it. But we also bolster that by giving them a lot of support and telling them when they do things really well. So, you know, the discipline is a factor, but you know, through relationship building, through showing them that you really do care, through showing them that you do have a vested interest in their lives and how they develop and who they become, and you know, things of that nature, it helps out a lot.
What kind of jobs are offered, you know, to students generally who go through your programs?
With my program specifically, what we try to do is we try to find a job, actually a career that they may want to do. So we try to find something that's geared toward their interest and abilities. And one of the special program or the special sort of functions, one of the outlets that is provided through the Workforce Investment Act is we can actually set them up through a work experience where we'll pick up the bill. So we'll actually pay the wage if we can find a partner, a mom and pop shop, a huge organization. If they'll allow our young person to come in and gain the valuable work experience that they need, we'll actually pay for it. And I mean, that helps. So we'll try to place them in those type of jobs. A lot of our young people, we try to get them in entry-level things, the things that without having a long resume or a whole lot of work experiences, those companies that'll just allow them an opportunity to come in the door and sort of earn their respect.
What is WIA? That's your program?
Yeah. That acronym stands for the Workforce Investment Act.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually a law that was signed into effect by Bill Clinton in 1998.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, it's kind of what it says. It's the reinvestment of federal funds into the workforce, the retraining, the retooling, okay, or the further instruction of those to continue to advance and push our workforce to meet the needs and the growing demands of our economy.
So that's basically funded through the federal government.
It's basically, it absolutely is funded.
It's absolutely funded through the federal government. So you guys, because of all the cutbacks in federal funds, that hasn't been affected so far?
It has been affected. more than I care to accept. Yeah. I wish that it wasn't that way, but it has been affected. And it's not only our program at Unified Health Solutions, but there are other vendors throughout Montgomery County that also receive the same type of funding, and it's affected the county at large. What we found that we've had to do is we've had to shrink the number of youth that we can actually reach out and touch. But even with that, we still want to provide a high level of services. So it requires us to do more. It requires us to do more with less money. It requires us to do more with less support. Like I stated earlier, you know, we may have to wear 2 or 3 different hats where someone may have did that for you in the past. Well, it's not available to be done now, and the job still needs to be done. And we just do what we have to do. But the impact, I mean, I can't, you know, state it enough. And this is at a time where more people are in need of the type of services that we provide. So we just have to continue to stay out and continue to push the mission of the agency and try to touch as many lives as we can.
Does your program help young people get into college and universities?
We absolutely help youth get into colleges and universities. That's one of the sort of the main components of what it is that we do. We can help them with really the whole thing. We like to get their interest in what they may want to do in terms of what type of major they may want to go to. We can do college tours. We can help them out with seeking financial aid. We can help them out filling out a federal application for financial aid. We'll help them through the application process, through the registration. There is actually a small pot of money that we can actually help with tuition. We can help with supportive services. We can help with books and all of those other things that you would need to become a functional student. So we absolutely try to walk them completely through that process. A lot of times with the youth that we engage, these are first generation college going students.
Right.
So it can be intimidating. If you're not from that environment, if you don't recognize that, it can be intimidating. So it's good to have somebody to kind of walk through that with you, at least in the beginning. I can't take any calculus exams for you, but
right.
I can certainly try and walk you through that process.
What about kids that are high school dropouts and offenders of some type, felons, you know, people who've gone through the incarceration process?
Okay.
How are they benefited?
Well, in terms of the high school dropouts, when they walk through our doors, there's an assessment that we can give them to try and gauge where their educational level might be. Mm-hmm. And that would further, that would let us know at what path we need to take at that point. Now, each youth is dealt with on an individual case-by-case basis, but we have a great relationship with a number of different agencies throughout the region that would allow them to take their GED classes. We have a great relationship with the Fast Forward initiative through Sinclair to get them re-enrolled in high schools that are considered kind of non-traditional high schools, but will allow them the flexibility to get back in school. And youth offenders are kind of the same way. It's hard for even an adult offender, but it's hard for a youth offender to reintroduce themselves into society. Sometimes that can be looked at as a roadblock. And we want to kind of be that buffer. We want to be the in-between. The cap of our workforce program is 21 years old. And there are very few things that I can think of that if someone is released back into society by the time they're 21 years old, that their whole life has to just be over. And so we want to be kind of the go-between. We want to kind of stand in the gap for those young people to see if we can make that impact, if we can help them to become enrolled in college, or if we can get them that entry-level job, or we'll work hard. We'll sort of jump in the foxhole with them to allow them to kind of get that one leg up.
What are some of the events? I know you guys do a lot of events and participate. Just give me elaborate a little bit on some of the events you guys have coming up for the future.
We actually have a wellness walk that I believe is coming up here, I believe spring, summer. Mm-hmm. And we have a golf outing that we do in the fall. And we're looking to expand and hopefully in the very, very near future to have a breakfast or dinner.
Yeah. Now, when you said a wellness walk, that comes under the health part.
Right.
Of Unified Health Solutions.
Right.
Want people to get out and do, what is it, 5K or?
I don't know actually the information, but I believe it is it's not a huge walk, but I believe it is like a small 5K.
It's going to be an initiative that's really pushed toward healthy lifestyles. You know, regular checkups, monitoring all the different levels. Through Wellness to Go, another one of our programs, we have the ability at a really, really low cut rate to do all of the different tests that one may need, the different lab work that one may need, monitoring stress levels, monitoring those everyday things that our body is telling us to help us become healthy. And that's really kind of the backbone of what we're trying to promote, is just healthy lifestyles, healthy initiatives. We're going to do that through the Wellness Walk and Run. And actually, Ms. Newman spoke earlier about the golf outing. We were privileged and honored to actually have our first UHS golf outing. It was a wonderful success.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah,
I remember seeing you there.
I didn't play golf.
Yeah, so
I was there.
That was a huge success. It was the first of our kind of doing something like that, at least in recent history. So we're actually excited about having those type of events, those signature events. It helps us to expand our footprint in the community, and we want to kind of further promote that we are an agency that's out here trying to make an impact, and we are out here championing for you know, those that are underserved.
And it's also a fundraiser, isn't it? It kind of helps to boost a little bit, particularly now as we have an economy that is kind of iffy at best. Those kind of things kind of help to
absolutely.
serve the program.
It does service as a fundraiser. And what's really important about those type of funds is that they're not connected to a specific program or a specific task. So it will allow us to go outside of the parameters of what the different funders that we do have, what they say that we should be doing. So we were very fortunate to sign on with different sponsors that allowed us to put on the event. And we're really thankful, and I'm sure that Don Eric will be in touch with each of them as we go forward.
I'm sure he will, including me. You know. But yeah, you know, when you were talking about the 5K, possible 5K race, I was reading a piece the other day that talked about the rising obesity of young kids. You know, when I came along, the time I got home from school, I headed for the street, playing basketball or run up and down the street or whatever. But because of the electronic age that we live in, most of our young people are couch potatoes. They don't, you don't see kids, you know, you don't even see them playing in the street. You know, we used to have to dodge them in the street because they'd be all out there. So I'm sure that in the process of the kind of training and so forth that you guys deal with, I'm sure that's a subject matter, something that is definitely dealt with.
And throughout our programs, we also do nutrition services. So we do promote healthy living and healthy eating and healthy habits through our school programs. That's a message that we deliver throughout all of our programs.
Stay away from that, I ain't gonna call the name of it, but that drive-through where you get that big sack. Stay away from that, you know, because it definitely will put the pounds on you. You know, looking back on Unified Health Solutions, I see that you guys are sort of almost a one-stop for young people. If you want to get an education and further your goals, you guys got it there. If you want to be mentored and hooked up with somebody that'll kind of help show you the way, you're there. You have a wide range of things that just really kind of takes in the whole body of young people, and that is fantastic. You know, we've got so much going on in today's society that it takes more than just a single entity to make young people apply themselves and understand that it's not a cheap ride out here. It's a lot that needs to be done. We're in our closing few minutes. I just want you to kind of just tell me what you see for the future. What are some of the things you guys are doing right now? And tell them where your office is. And, you know, you got several other people on staff that are doing various things. Just tell us a little bit about that.
I'll talk about the expansion, and then you can actually let them know where we're located.
Okay.
In the near future with Project Empower, I know we're looking to expand through not just in Montgomery County, but to expand in Montgomery, Greene, and Preble to get funding to actually service youth in those areas. So we are looking to expand programs for sure within the next year to 2 years, because that's communication that has already been had. So we really look to expand in that area.
Okay. Now Preble is what primarily a rural community,
yes,
right?
Yes, it's a rural community.
So it's kind of the houses are far apart, and you know, 100 kids in Preble is a lot of miles to cover, a lot of blocks to cover, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
What's the high school out there? Is that Shawnee?
Shawnee. I believe it is Preble Shawnee. I think
yeah,
it is Preble Shawnee.
There's a few.
Preble
I think
Shawnee, but
Eaton High School
Yeah.
is in Preble County.
Okay.
So
Right.
little cities, the little places.
But they have many of the same problems we have. Their
yes, they do.
children have many of the same problems that you see in the inner city, even though many times the media tries to show that we're so far apart, but we are more similar than we are apart. You have any closing remarks you'd like to?
Well, I do. The Youth Employment Training Program we're actually currently in the enrollment process, so I just want to make sort of speak about that quickly. We service youth between the ages of 16 to 21, and we pretty much can consider everyone. If you're a high school dropout, if you're pregnant or parenting teen, if you're a youth offender, if you are in foster care, if you're homeless, if you have any type of disability, those are the youth that we kind of target, that we want to look at. They can begin that process by either calling me. My name is Richard Moore. The number is 937-220-6639, or they can call Mr. Van Woodard. His number is 937-272. Just call me.
Well, they can call you. They can call you.
I think it's 272-8358. I don't know. I just blanked that out. But they can call me.
They can also call our main line.
They can also call
What's
the main line.
number?
It's 937-220-6600, and that way they can get everybody. That's
They
a
get
better.
everybody.
That's a better number to call anyway.
Right.
We're located at 3440 Office Park Drive,
Okay.
and that's in Kettering, Ohio. Some of our programs we do in-house in the building, but a lot of our programs we're actually out in the field in the community.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm really happy to, Don Eric, the president and CEO, Don Eric Black, was supposed to be here, but knowing Don Eric, he had other things to do. He's in New Orleans, so he's somewhere having fun. But I'm really proud to have Miss Eleanor Newman here and Mr. Richard Moore. I can go back and tell Don Eric that you guys knew what you were talking about, and I think the community is much more aware of what Unified Health Solutions are. So I really thank you for coming out this evening and remembering that if they want to reach you, they can call
220-6600.
Okay.
That's our main line.
Or they can stop
Unified
in on Bigger Road in Office Park.
Yeah,
and,
Office Park,
find
3440.
3440 Bigger.
Office Park Drive.
Oh, it's Office Park.
That's Office Park
Okay.
Drive, yeah.
Because the reason I said Bigger Road because I went out there and Don Eric directed me to Bigger Road somewhere up in the alley. No wonder I was riding all up in those hills. Couldn't figure out where I was. But anyway, I'm very, very happy and very pleased that you guys came out tonight. And you can watch News from a Different View on your Dayton DATV station. And I'd like to thank our viewers and read the Dayton Weekly News. You'll learn even more about Unified Health Solutions and other breaking stories affecting the Dayton area community. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cut.